Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been like a long time, but y'all, I've been tired. I've been working, I've been doing a lot of stuff. So, I apologize. Um, yeah. So, today I wanted to talk about, I guess, growing up gay and just my whole experience about being lesbian and maybe educating some people out there that aren't too sure exactly how we are. Some people think that we're a completely different species, and that's not the case. But I've come to kind of just tell my story, tell things that I go through, things that, yeah, stuff like that. Um, so let's start from the beginning. The big bang of my life, as you could say. I started realizing at a very young age that I was interested in the same sex. When I was 6 years old, I started having, sometimes it's like where you have like your little crushes and stuff like that. And yeah, I wasn't really having crushes on like boys. I was having crushes on girls. Um, so I was like, okay. My parents never really discussed it with me that young because I just don't really think that it was like in their minds that they needed to discuss it. I just don't think that they were like expecting me to be gay. I don't know. But the conversation never really arose until I was like older. Um, so I was just like, oh, okay, it's normal, whatever. Like, I never thought the way that I felt was abnormal. Like, and I know some people, actually, probably a lot of people think that them being gay or whatever is weird or not normal, because of how they grow up and just things like that, how they're raised. They're raised to think that it's weird, it's wrong. So, but within myself, I never felt like I was different. I never felt like I was wrong. And if I did feel like I was different, I sure as hell felt like I was different in a good way. I never felt negative about being gay. The only time I ever got sad about it, to be honest, was when other people would say stuff to me, because back then it just kind of was like I didn't know how to handle it. So I would just cry. Like, I was like, why are you guys treating me bad? Like, not my parents or anything, but I was like, why are you treating me bad? Like, it's normal. Like, I don't know why everybody's like tripping. So yeah, so when I was 6, I started having those feelings. I never really like thought about it. I just kind of like, just went about my life. I wasn't thinking, oh, when I'm 6, I'm not thinking about all that. But as I started getting older and I started, your hormones are racing, you're starting to, find yourself and, find your sexuality, and you're just growing, as a person. So as I'm like doing that and I'm evolving and growing, I started realizing that like I was having feelings for girls. Like, it was like not, I was like, okay, all right. And like I think like when I finally realized, I was like, okay, was when I had my first um I had my first crush, like crush that I could remember, when I was like 10. And it was with this girl, Brittany, and I still remember her. I'm still friends with her on Facebook and stuff like that. We don't talk that much anymore, but life, right? But she was my first crush, like my first crush. So I realized then, I was like, okay, like, because like obviously like all my friends that were girls, like a majority of them were like having crushes on boys, and they were having boyfriends and all this stuff, and I'm over here like, I like girls, like what the hell's going on? So like I started kind of getting confused because I'm like, why am I the only one? And so that's when I started realizing, okay, like maybe I am different in that aspect. But I never thought it was like a bad thing, I guess. And so yeah, I was just like, what the hell? And yeah, I kind of just like, and then I ended up having a crush on my teacher at like 11. Like, I was a crazy child. Like, I would just have crushes on everybody. But I kind of realized, like, after that, and I would, like, talk to my friends and kind of, like, I was kind of, like, getting educated, with sexuality and stuff like that. And, like, looking stuff up on the computer, I was just, like, trying to figure out, like, what it could be. And I felt like I still was kind of attracted to guys, like a little, like I thought they were cute. And I still think guys are attractive. Like I'm not like oh they're just all ugly. Like I obviously can think that guys are attractive, but I don't want to like jump in the sheets with them if that makes any sense. So that's why I was confused because I'm like I still think guys are attractive, so like maybe like but I just like had no like feeling of like yeah, when I saw a guy, I just was like, okay, they're whatever. So I was like, well, maybe then I would like look it up, and then I found bisexual, and I was like, okay, well, maybe if I just come out as bisexual, it won't be so bad, because I feel like a lot of gay people, like not a lot, but I feel like there like a lot of them out, like gay people out there that when they first came out, they came out as bisexual because I feel like it's an easier stepping stone with your parents than it is to just be like, I'm gay, because then it's like, holy shit. So, because I know my wife did, like, she ended up coming out as bisexual first before she came out as lesbian. So, when I was 11, I ended up telling my mom that I liked girls. But then I was like, I also kind of like guys, so I'm like, I think I'm bisexual. But I was afraid to tell her because before I ended up coming out to her as bisexual, I ended up telling her that that basically like I asked her like because I wanted to kind of get her reaction. And the thing was like I never really expected to kind of go through a situation like there's like a lot of people I think out there that they end up they're kind of like, oh, like they kind of think the opposite. Like they think that it's gonna go bad and their parents are gonna like disown them and like never talk to them again, and they end up like, sometimes that happens, but then there's other times where they tell their parents are like, I love you, like you should have told me, and all this other stuff. Me, it was like the opposite. Like I was like, my mom's not gonna care, like she's gonna be accepting about it because whatever. Because my mom, like, she always, like, loved everybody. Like, she was always cool with everybody. She was always friends with everybody. We had 2, like, gay neighbors that were, like, awesome. And she was, like, best friends with them. And so it's kind of, like, it kind of blew my mind how it all went out. I mean, obviously, now I understand why it played out the way that it did. And obviously it's in the past. But yeah, I mean, like, so I was kind of shocked by the situation. Because I asked her, I was like, Mom, what do you, like, do you know anything about, like, bisexuality? Because we were in the car, and she's like, what is that? I'm like, it's a person that, like, is attracted to, both sexes. I'm like, boys and girls. And she's like, oh, they're like, they're like, they need to choose one, like all this other stuff, like it's like, just like kind of like not for it, kind of acting like it's just not good, like it's gross and all this stuff. So like after that I was kind of like, okay, maybe I won't come out, because like I didn't really want to, but like I felt like I needed to tell her because I was like, because I felt like I had this weight, and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything, like it's not worth it, because she already kind of kind of said what she felt about it. But then like a year later I decided, I was like, I'm just gonna tell her, and it didn't go very well. Yeah, my mom obviously accepts me now. She doesn't care. Um, but like back then when I told her, she kind of just like didn't, I think she just didn't want to believe it. She was kind of just like, I don't know, like it's just a phase, that typical stuff. And so I was just kind of like, what the hell? Because I was honestly expecting her to be super fucking, like, what's it called? Like, super fucking, like, accepting about it. So it kind of was like a shock to me. I was like, what the fuck? And like that went on for a few years. Like I just feel like she just kind of like ignored it. I don't feel like she really wanted to deal with it. So I was like, okay. I told my dad. I just feel like he kind of blew it off. Like he didn't. I don't think he took it seriously. He was just kind of like whatever. Like he didn't want anything to do with it. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I felt like it was like a part of me that I had to hide at that point. And I've always been a tomboy. I've always felt like I've always dressed more masculine and stuff like that. I've always felt more comfortable with that kind of outerwear and stuff like that. So I've always dressed like that. And my mom didn't have a problem. But as soon as I told her I liked girls, man, she was like, nope, no more boy clothes, over this, over that. And I was like, what the hell? So yeah, it was not a good situation. And then like, so like, yeah, I was from like age 11 until like I moved out at like 16, when we kind of like we just fought about it like all the time. Like not like, because like every time she'd take me clothes shopping, I never wanted to go shopping in the girls section, like ever. Like I hated their clothes. They were all ugly as hell to me. Like they all these like bright ass colors, and I'm like, I feel like the boys clothes they're more comfortable. They look better on me. I feel like I'm just more comfortable in boys clothes. And she just wasn't having it. So like I just, yeah, it just was just like a constant fight about that all the damn time. So so yeah, I kind of just felt like I had to like keep it on the DL from like then on. And then after I moved out, like I felt like this weight had been lifted, because like me and mom were like fighting all the time. Like not even just about that, we were just like always tense with each other. Like we just never got along, and we just ended up like just fighting just about dumb shit all the time, whether it was like schoolwork or cleaning or just anything, just any little thing you could fight about, we fought about. And it was just getting to the point where it was just bad for both of us. So I made the decision to move out, and it really hurt my mom. And to this day, I still feel guilty about doing it. Because in my mind at the time, I just felt like it was better, because I was like, okay, we're not gonna be fighting. Like, we just need our space, like, we're just always fighting. Like, we're always getting into it. Like, and I just felt like me moving out was the better, decision than to just stay. And like, so that happened. And then like after I moved out, I felt like, because like my dad, he was like too busy being my friend. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like he just wanted to kind of kiss my ass and stuff. So he gave me whatever I wanted whenever I asked for it. Like I asked him, hey, can I have money? He didn't think twice. He gave it to me. He didn't even care what I was buying it for. I could drink and I could do whatever the hell I wanted. I was like down at Fremont all the time, and he just was like, okay, like he just didn't care. And that's what I wanted in my life at the time, because I felt like I needed to break loose. But in all actuality, I don't really think that I needed that. I feel like structure was probably better for me, but what you gonna do? But anyway, so when I was like 16, I didn't come out to my mom, because after that whole situation, I didn't feel comfortable. So, but I did come out to my friends and everything, like people that I knew. I did come out as like lesbian. Like I decided at that moment that, I was just trying to be bisexual for everybody else. I was just trying to say that I liked guys to please my family, basically. So I just was like, you know what? That's not true. Like, I don't like men. Like, I don't. So then that's when I was like, okay, I'm lesbian. and me and my mom, like, we weren't really talking after I moved out. We didn't really talk at all. Um, so I think, like, when we started talking again and we started having a relationship, I think I, like, brought it up to her, um, that I was lesbian and that I didn't, like men and all that stuff. So I feel like, you know, I feel like it was, like, hard for her to, like, kind of take that in, because I feel like when you're parents, like, you have, like, these expectations for your kids and, like, all this other stuff, and it's like, so it's like when your kid ends up turning out a way that you weren't really expecting them to, I feel like it kind of just, like, sends them into a frenzy. But my mom has come a long way. She's come around so much about it. Like, she doesn't even care. She's like, I don't care that you're, lesbian. She's like, I love you regardless. She's like, I just want you to be happy. I want you to treat the person you're with good, and I want the person that you're with to treat you good. So, like, she's come a long way. She doesn't care that, like, I dress in, like, masculine clothing anymore. Like, she just doesn't care. Like, she's so, like, chill with it now. Like, it's great. So, like, I don't want everybody to be like, oh my god, but, like, I talked to her about it because I was like, Mom, like, I don't understand, like, why you were so, like, you didn't let me do anything, like, you didn't let me, like, express myself, like, I was like, I came to you in confidence about this, and, like, I just felt shunned, like, I just felt like it was just put on the back burner, and, like, I told her, I was like, I told her, like, I never would have expected that, like, honestly, and I just, like, wanted to know, like, why did she act like that, and, like, she told me, she just, like, at that moment in my life, like, she's basically just said, like, she was at that moment, in that point in her life, like, when I came out to her and, like, all this stuff, like, she basically was, like, she was worried about what everyone else was gonna think instead of, like, how I felt, kind of thing, and stuff like that, because she was just, like, worried about, like, what her friends were gonna think, or, all this other stuff, or I don't know, I mean, her family, which my family's a piece of shit anyway, so it's not like it matters, but, at the time, like, my mom just had that thought process, and so obviously, I know for a fact that if she could do it over, she would do it differently, like, I already know that, yeah, and then, like, so my mom's great now, she's, like, all for it, she's super, accepting and all this stuff, so it's good now. But with my dad, my dad's always been more on the conservative, homophobic side, and yeah, he doesn't agree with it. He accepts it with me, like, he's still in my life, like, he still loves me and all this stuff because I'm his daughter, but he doesn't agree with that, which I'm like, I don't care, like, I mean, like, I wish that he does, like, I do, like, I wish that he accepted it, I wish that he was, like, cool with it and all this other stuff, but, I mean, all I can say is that at least I'm happy that at least he still is willing to be in my life, like, it could be worse, he could have, like, disowned me, he could have, like, done, like, a bunch of crap, so, yeah. Sorry, I'm eating grapes. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that was kind of, like, my thing growing up. But, like, I guess, like, how I feel about it now is, like, I just feel great. Like, I really do. Like, I could not see myself being straight, and I just feel like me imagining myself with a guy just, I don't know, like, it just doesn't seem right, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a straight person who's, like, a straight guy that's like, oh, I can't see myself with a guy, or a straight girl, it's like, I can't see myself with a girl. It's, like, the same thing, like, I just can't, like, I've been living this life for, like, ever now, and so I feel myself, I feel cool, I feel great, honestly, and stuff like that, But yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing for me, to be honest, was, um, I think was trying to, like, like I said, like when I grew up, I never felt really within myself, let me just add that in there, that I was weird. That I never felt like it was wrong. I never felt like I just never felt negative about it in any way, shape, or form. I actually embraced it. I loved it. I was like, wow, I'm awesome. Like I'm different. Like, I was all about it. And um but I think like the hardest thing for me was because I accepted it within myself so much and I never thought of it as a bad thing. Um that I feel like the hardest thing for me was when everyone else would say it was. And I think that's what like was hard. Like, people like saying shit, and like a lot of people wouldn't really say stuff until like I got older, if that makes any sense. Like, really? People on the damn. Anyway, um, like, cause there's been like there were situations like when me and Ashley like first got together, like the first couple of years, I would say, like we would bus it together, and there would be situations like there was one situation where this guy was like, I don't remember what we were doing. I think I was like laying on Ashley and or like holding her hand or something, and some dude got like all fucking bent out of shape about it. And like I wish I would have handled the situation differently, cuz like I was like, I don't even know. I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time when this happened. And like I acted like a complete fool. Like I embarrassed the hell out of myself cuz like I just got so angry. Like I just got so angry. Like, I was like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, why do you care? Like, I just was going off. I was calling him all sorts of names. And then he starts throwing the Bible bullshit at me. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck off. Like, it was just a whole heap of shit. And I feel like that's always been a hard thing for me to deal with. Like, even to this day, like, when somebody says something, I just get really defensive. And, like, it's been hard for me to kind of, like, overcome that because it's like, I don't know, it's just like though that's just like my sexuality and LGBTQ community and everything like that. It's just so passionate with me that it's just hard for me to kind of like not get defensive when somebody says something. Like I just get really defensive. um so yeah, I just was like, what the fuck. And then there would be situations where like guys would like ask us like how we had sex and all this stuff, like just inappropriate ass shit, like how, like just dumbass fucking shit. So like like me and Ash never like we never got like beat up or like assaulted. Like we've been called names like dyke and faggots and all this other shit. Like we've been called names, and people like, want to talk shit and they always want to like throw the Bible down our, like shove the Bible down our throat, and we're like, we're good. Like, we just talked to Satan last night. Like, we're fine. Like, we just make like dumbass remarks like that because they're making dumbass remarks. So I'm like, you know what? There you go. But yeah, I mean, I just think that like, for me, I just love being lesbian. Like, I know it might sound weird because I'm sure people are like, that's so stupid. Like, you don't see us going around saying we love being straight. That's fine. But for me, I just love it. I love just being with a woman, being with Ashley. Love it. It's great. And I just like being a part of something, like I just love being a part of a community that has to fight, you know what I'm saying? Like I love being a part of a community that like is fighting to get where we need to be, And yeah. So yeah, I just feel like that was my experience about being lesbian. That was my experience about, being part of the LGBTQ community. And yeah, I'm gonna cut this one a little short because it's all I really have to talk about, to be honest. I don't really have. I kind of wanted to make another podcast with my wife because I feel like she'd be able to give more insight and you guys would maybe be able to get like another perspective of all that stuff. So I'm gonna cut this one short, but I'll be back hopefully with her soon. I really want her to come on this podcast because like I think it'll be great. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next podcast.